Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the EEARSS Podcast, produced at Terrier TV. I am Frank Alligator Rob. This is the legendary Bill Curtis.
Yes, legendary, yes. We'll go with legendary.
We are sadly without Miss Cindy today, but she is here in spirit for sure.
Yes.
How have things been going, Bill? What's new and exciting? Tell me all the things.
New and exciting. Well, let's see.
The shirt is epic. I haven't seen this shirt before.
Oh, you haven't seen this shirt?
No, I've never seen this shirt on the podcast.
Yep, probably not. I had to decide whether I wanted to wear it to school. So it was like, do I want to wear this to school? Yes, I do.
What would have been the reasons not to wear it to school?
Well, you know, it is a tropical type shirt, and so that does indicate that you're slacking and that you're not what's the word I'm looking for? A serious educator.
Really?
So, yeah, you can't do that. You can't have any fun. If you have any fun, you're not serious.
Okay, that's an interesting correlation there. I've never noticed that.
You never noticed that?
No, I've never noticed it.
Well, see, when you knew me, I wore a tie. When I started teaching, I wore a tie every day.
You did. You wore a suit and a tie.
Yeah. Yep. Made sure I wore a tie every day.
Sometimes the suit would usually the jacket top would come off, and you'd have the tie on. But yes.
But I always wore a tie because the tie. When I was substitute teaching, I learned that the tie will buy you 10 minutes. It buys you 10 minutes, and if you can work that 10 minutes and use it wisely, then you have them. But if you don't have the tie, then you're struggling from the get-go.
So the interesting question here then is, when in your career did you lose the tie, and why? Did you feel like you just kind of had it under control at that point?
Yeah, at a point, I just
How long into the career was that?
I'd say maybe 10 years in. About 10 years in,
You just never went back to it, just said,
yeah, no, it was just ties done.
Do you still have a bunch of ties?
Oh, I do. And it used to be the go-to gift for me at Christmas and Father's Day and stuff, because I had quirky ties. I had like cartoon ties.
Oh, to say, was there a theme to your ties?
No, it was just like, get me a weird tie.
It wasn't like mine that's alligators and crocodiles and weird things?
No. It wasn't. Although I did teach social studies at the time, so there was some things with the, like the Bill of Rights and stuff like that.
Did you have an Abraham Lincoln tie?
George
Washington cutting down a cherry tree?
No, I don't think so. No. I don't think so. But I did have, a red, white, and blue tie and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
Okay. I've learned something today, Bill.
Well, there you go. That's good. Then
I
my job is done.
I feel accomplished.
Fine.
Yeah, that's great.
I've done what I set out to do.
You want to introduce our guest and let's start chatting with him?
Well, yes, sir. Let's do it.
So today on the podcast, we are blessed to be joined by Dr. Gay from over at Astronaut High School. Happy to have you here, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. And I have my own tie stories as well.
Oh, do you? Okay.
As an educator of 20 years, you're right. About 10 years, you give up the ties.
Yeah.
I have my SpongeBob square tie.
Okay.
And I have my bears and my wolves from Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
And so biology teacher, I had to have biology themed ties. Absolutely.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think... Huh. I think that's different now for people coming into education, although we have some young guys here who wear ties.
Absolutely. You have to set that standard.
Yes, exactly. And it does. Disney had a thing where, you went to grad night and seniors went to grad night and they made all the boys wear a tie. You had to wear a tie. And Disney's philosophy on it was, if you dressed well, you behaved well. And I think I saw that.
It does make sense.
Yeah, if you dress nicely, then it's a lot harder to do skullduggery.
Skullduggery.
That's a good word.
That was good.
Yeah.
Don't want to get woolly boogered. So, Dr. Gay, tell us a little bit about you. You were telling us when we were first kind of chatting here to start that you were born and raised in Brevard County?
Born and raised in Brevard County. I was born in Melbourne and brought up with the space program. My dad was out at the Cape in 1958. He remembers Werner von Braun. He was the weather balloon guy out at the Cape. I was brought up with the Apollo program, brought up in Cocoa Beach, graduated Cocoa Beach High in 1981.
Could you have ever imagined going from a graduate at Cocoa Beach High School to teaching at Astronaut?
I was not going to teach ever. I was going to be a veterinarian.
Oh,
that was the plan. Okay.
That was the plan. So I went to the University of Florida pre-vet and was animal science all the way.
Okay.
Livestock judging. I was on the meats judging team for the university. And
so you were going large mammals.
Large mammals, absolutely. Cattle, sheep,
That's
absolutely.
it.
I was going to go to veterinary school and went the path of grad school instead.
Let's say what flipped the script for you to make you go from one to the other? Was there do you remember like a defining moment?
Absolutely. When I realized that they only accepted 80 applicants into their program and there were 600 that applied, and I would have to probably apply three or four times before I would get the chance to get in, I said, I can't waste my money. I went to grad school instead. And actually, I went from microbiology, which was my major, and jumped over to agronomy and plant sciences. So that was the switch for me. But I had a major professor that was interested in mitochondrial genetics, which is more microbiology based. And he saw that he needed somebody in microbiology. So it actually fit quite well. So it looks like I meandered along a different path, and that really describes my life, is meandering.
There's nothing. That is a word. A word that's not used often enough.
We are kindred spirits because I didn't go to grad school, but I didn't anticipate that I would be teaching, and so I came to it. I was 32 when I started.
I started graduate school right away, but then I meandered around, ended up at the University of Kentucky, did not finish that program.
Okay.
And then went for my PhD at Auburn in plant pathology, which took the microbes and the plants, put them together.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it actually fit quite well. And
now, when were you at Auburn?
I was at Auburn from 1990 to 1996.
Okay. Okay. One of my brothers went to Auburn for a short time.
I loved Auburn University. Great place.
Oh, yeah. I got to visit him. It was neat. Yeah.
It's a great campus. And I was in their agriculture program. My major professor was one of my best friends from Kentucky who got his first position there. And he says, "You want to be my first grad student?" I said, "Why not?"
There you go.
And so I ran his lab. And the problem is, as a grad student, if you're running a lab and you're doing a great job, they don't want to see you go. So they don't let you finish.
Yes, yes.
So it took 6 years.
Because you're valuable.
And that's what happened.
When you finish up your time in the lab in grad school, how do you jump from there to the next step? As you kind of already know, this is where I want to go next. This is specifically when I get my doctorate in. And did you have a plan after that?
I had no plan.
No.
I had no
Frank,
plan.
are you not familiar with the term meandering?
Oh, I know.
What
I just
that
want
means?
to. I want to hear.
There
I want to
is
hear
no
it. I want to hear it.
Let me tell you about my meandering path. I ended up at Alabama A&M, a historically black college.
Okay.
I was a postdoc there for 3 years. My next step was working in aluminum toxicity in soybeans. And so I was the molecular biologist. And so I could identify genes really well. I don't care what the organism.
Right.
Then I jumped from that postdoc to a second postdoc working with peanut allergens. So I could switch the peanut allergens off. I was successful at that for about a year, but didn't finish. Then I was offered a job at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, and it was my 5th choice out of 5, and it's the one I got.
Oh, okay.
And so I ended up doing potato disease testing in Alaska.
Oh, cool.
Now, what does that look like?
I spent some time on the campus there looking for, because they had gotten the bus out of the wilderness. Into the Wild.
Into the Wilds.
Yeah, that bus.
John Krakauer.
And they went and got it because so many people were going out there and getting stranded that they were having to spend so many resources trying to get them. So they went and airlifted the bus out. They had it in I think it was in the Student Union building at the University of Alaska Fairbanks.
And what year was that?
This was 2 summers ago, and they were refurbishing it. They were getting it ready to put it on display.
So I was there from 2000 to 2005.
Okay.
And so I was working. So molecular biologist, you do lab work for 10 months out of the year, and then the 2 months of summer, you were out doing field work.
Okay.
And I love the field work. And so disease testing, you're doing ELISA tests, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assays, which is basically protein detections in potatoes. So you just extract the proteins from the potato leaves, and you test for the different viruses.
Okay.
I did not know that we grew a lot of potatoes in Alaska.
I didn't know that either.
What's interesting with the potatoes in Alaska is they're disease-free.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
there's a direct connect. My boss in the University of Alaska Fairbanks had a direct connect. She was Taiwanese and born in China. She had a direct connect to sell potatoes to China.
Oh.
It was a state to Chinese government connection to sell
Right.
potatoes.
Okay.
So one of my sidekicks was basically to certify disease-free potatoes in Alaska. And so I did that on the side.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's unique.
There you go.
It
That
is.
is unique. Now, how do you go from being up there in Alaska doing this stuff? What brings you back to Florida, or tell us the in between, and then what brings you back to Florida?
There was no in between. So my position was ending funding wise,
Right.
and so what happened was my parents were aging. They were living in Cocoa Beach. I wanted to help them out, and I didn't have a potato disease job in Florida, and
Right.
so teaching was I said there's a program at UCF. It's called TMAS, Transition to Math and Science Teaching, for people that had been in an industry, and I was biotech. And so I went to the UCF program to get a 1-year master's degree in education, which got me certified to be a teacher
Okay.
by getting an education degree. And Lockheed Martin paid for the whole thing. And so it was all paid for. And I was able, now the only stipulation was you had to teach in Orange County for 2 years, middle school.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a high price. It's a high price for free.
So a little story. The first year I was teaching 7th graders, I decided that we would do a solid liquid gas dance where we would move around the room as molecules.
Okay.
My principal came in to evaluate me,
Oh, Lord.
saw the chaos, walked out, called me in her office after school. I knew that was the end of my career, my first year.
Uh-huh.
And so she called me in. She says, I had heard that you're doing amazing things in the classroom. Keep it up. I won't surprise you again. And it was fantastic. It was a good situation.
Oh, that's great.
So
That went in opposite direction you were expecting, though.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. What's interesting is as a science teacher in 7th grade, they gave me a home ec room,
Ooh, okay.
which was great because I had freezer space, I had refrigerator space, I had stoves that were unplugged with the 7th graders, but I was able to heat things up. It was the best situation for a science teacher.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty cool lab.
It was great. And it was the year of the 3 hurricanes,
Okay.
2004.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've been teaching about 20 years now.
Did you do your 2 years in Orange County?
I did my 2 years and jumped right over to Astronaut High School, been there ever since.
There you go.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about your journey there at Astronaut High School and what it's been like and what it's been like working there.
So I love Astronaut High School. I love the north end of the county. I serve as department chair. I'm having fun, and as long as you have fun at your job, you can't complain. I started a fishing club this year, which was new. I got
Oh, there you go. Do you know Chris Bainbridge?
no, I do not.
Here at THS, he started a fishing club too.
Excellent. So I'll
Yeah.
have to touch bases with him.
Because he did a summer program with it.
And so FWC gave me a grant to start
Yeah.
a fishing program.
Yeah.
And so I need to talk to him.
Yeah, you do.
We
Yeah.
need to combine.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I did not think that the interest would be as great as it is. I had 30 students the first day.
Oh, wow.
And so a lot of excitement. I run science research at Astronaut High School. I've got students doing projects on the whole gamut, everything. And that's how I know you.
Everything. Yep.
It is a little bit of everything. Christina Serrato was on a podcast. We worked with drones. We had students involved in drones. I've got students working on microplastics this year. I've got students doing computing, coding, behavioral projects, a little bit of everything.
And you're always one of the big dogs at the science fairs as well.
I try to be. So I'm one of the fair directors for Intracoastal, which has Satellite High School and Edgewood as their main schools at those. And there's other schools as well. But my students participate in mainland science fairs. So I'm a participant in all 3 fairs. And then the state has pulled me along for their review committee. So I'm reviewing projects, and I guess I'm an expert in potentially hazardous biological agents because of my microbiology background. And so I review projects that are pretty detailed. And myself and a couple other teachers around the state are reviewing the state projects.
To say, I was blessed to join you at one of them last year over at the Merritt Island Mall.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those projects the kids are doing are absolutely
it's amazing
phantasmal.
what they do. How much research it goes into it, and
you could probably spend an hour at each project trying to grasp the concepts they are breaking down on the real detailed ones. It's something else.
They're pretty involved, especially for high school. And you've got students that are doing continuation projects all the way from middle school through high school. It could be up to 6 years of research, which is graduate level work at a high school.
No doubt about it. Yeah, some of the stuff they have over there definitely is graduate and doctorate level research.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it gives you hope.
Yeah. It does.
It gives you a lot of hope.
See that kind of stuff.
Tell us about some other things you guys have going on over there at Astronaut. I know you've got your hands on so many things.
I do.
You guys are working on so many different things.
I'm trying to think of what else I could talk about. I know science research. I'm involved in that. Also, I taught at Eastern Florida State College for a little bit, so I adjuncted there as well. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else is going. I know what I can talk about. So I also get involved in the middle school. I work with the middle school science bowl. We have the academic team at Astronaut High School. I participate in that as well. Let's see, what else? The middle school science, we have a STEM summer camp we've run for the last 3 years. I've been the camp coordinator for summer, so that keeps me busy. So I get back to my roots with 7th and 8th graders. And they're usually funneling into my school by 9th grade, and I teach the 9th grade biology class.
That's nice. They already know you're walking into it.
It's
got to make them more comfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because the first couple of weeks of freshman year are always kind of a little bit bit chaotic.
You're a little lost. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, rightfully so. Going into a brand new big school, knowing somebody there would definitely be a huge benefit.
And I've got 9th graders that start, and they come right to my classroom. I know you. I've gotten to know you over the years, and yeah. So the summer STEM camp is so much fun. Again, a fun activity that keeps you young and keeps you going. We were launching rockets last year, and we were always with the football team. The football team's on the practice field. We're on the field right next. We're launching rockets. We're distracting the football players all the time. And so one of our coaches at our school, Coach Bundy, he's in biology, and so he understands, and the football players would retrieve our rockets when we'd launch them. We're flying drones. We're launching rockets. We're building robots inside, running the robots. We have jumping robots. We have different robots that are being programmed and coded. And this is all middle school.
Wow.
And so.
Something else.
That is incredible.
Another question I have for you.
Sure.
Being born and raised here in Brevard County, what do you see what do you think about all these changes? The space program's crazy. That's amazing. I saw the other day. I watched a SpaceX launch out in Texas where they launched this giant Starship. The Starship, and they caught it in the contraption.
Yeah.
Yep.
They
grabbed the booster.
As a science teacher, what do you think of the changes and the way things have escalated over the years into this? I mean, our space program's crazy amazing. And just the changes in Brevard County in general. Give me some of your thoughts on that.
So one thing I did as a science teacher was I worked out at the Cape in a summer program. It's called SIFT, and I did that many, many years ago. I was with the Natural Resource Group out at the Cape where we would capture gopher tortoises, relocate them. We would work with the natural resources. But what was great was I got to work with the archaeologist out there, and we got to travel all over. And it was at a time when SpaceX was just starting, where they were building the buildings. And he was telling me about the programs that were going to happen. And now look at it. It's just You go driving through the Cape now on the public roads, and you've got Blue Origin, and it's just
it went to levels
off.
I don't think anybody saw it going to.
Oh yeah, no,
Absolutely.
so much so that they're kind of like running out of space. They're looking for other places to go.
You know, I remember as a kid, growing up and watching all the shuttles go up and thinking, man, this is amazing. This is really neat what's happening here in our backyard. And then when the shuttle programs shut down, we kind of all went, well, I guess that's the end of that.
Yeah.
I guess that's the end of that. Brevard County, especially this end, just started going away. Half the houses were empty.
Right.
And then who could have ever seen the giant transition that went from that, kind of like just a dead man's land. There weren't a whole lot of people here, and there wasn't a whole lot of money here, to where it's at now on the far end of the spectrum. Everything's getting built up out there. They're launching a rocket every other day, it seems like. And it's crazy. Well, it's amazing, really.
As a kid in Cocoa Beach in the 60s and 70s, I remember A1A, and we would go walk down at the end of my street and watch the parade as the astronauts came through in their convertible Corvettes.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember that as a kid. There was not a condo in sight. There was woods. Cape Canaveral was just wooded the whole way. From Washington Avenue to Jetty Park was nothing. We called it Pineys when I was a kid. You would take your motorbikes, your motocross bikes up into the Pineys.
Oh, okay.
And so now it's all condo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's what comes with progress, as I'm consistently reminded. Progress comes with new things getting built.
Well, you have people, and you got to put people someplace.
It's the only, as someone who's who speaks out for the environment, that's the only thing that I worry about. We have so many people coming to Brevard.
Yeah.
All the green spots are going away, but when you have something that's so successful, like what's happening out there, it's just kind of the way it goes, isn't it?
It is.
Yep.
So as a kid, I remember my grandfather taking us on a family trip, and we were sitting in the middle of a pine wooded area in Kissimmee, and there was a gate up because it was private property for the future Disney World.
Oh, okay.
And so
Wow.
Disney was early 70s. I was 5 years old in 1968, and that dates me, but my grandpa took us over there, and he said, this is where Walt Disney is building his new place.
Right.
And so
that's a space program per se too, really. I mean, that's
well, and you talk about in the middle of nowhere. My goodness.
They did. They dropped it right in the middle of nowhere.
They did.
Yep.
Man, I tell you what, it's interesting things happening in Brevard County these days. We're very blessed to be here and be able to enjoy it. No doubt about it. So you guys, as both teachers, this question is for both of you guys. What have you seen change over the years, student-wise? And I've asked Bill this before. What do you see that gives you hope in the next generation that you say, you know what, these kids have got it together and they can handle it. They can take the next generation and lead it.
Well, I can start with this easy. You don't change their curiosity.
Right.
They really want to discover. That is our nature. That's what we want to do. And you can absolutely see it in the kids. You want to keep that inquisitiveness, that curiosity going, especially in science. I see it all the time. There's that drive. It's not disappeared. And from the beginning of my career all the way till now, that has not changed. And so that drive to find out answers. I never thought that I would ever be at a point in my life where I could hold a computer in my hand. And that's what we've got. We've got technology at our fingertips.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is amazing how far we've come. Yep.
Yep, there was still a payphone here at Titusville High School when I went here. It was pre-cell phone.
Yeah.
There was still a payphone that was over there against the wall and everybody used. It was
At that
before
time
you
we
guys
had
even had the challenges of that in class, which I
we
can't
had
even imagine.
pagers.
Pagers had just come into
Beepers
existence.
and pagers were
Beepers
the
and
issue.
pagers.
Yep.
That was the issue then.
Technology, man, it's a crazy contraption.
I was still at the age when we had the giant boom boxes.
Well, that was
Yep.
whenever I was a little guy, but yeah.
Yeah, with the D batteries and.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
You have a new student that walks into you and says, I want to do what you're doing one day, what path do you put them on? What do you tell them?
Definitely college. You want to be driven for college. You want to make sure you're making the right choices for college. You want to make sure that you keep in touch with the people you know at your school that can put you on that right path. And so
in the science world, it does all kind of come down to connections, doesn't it?
Connections. It's all about connections. It's who you know and making those connections. And that's true not just of the students, but of anybody. It's interesting because as a science research teacher, I'm not an expert in everything. None of us are. But I know how to make connections. Here's the thing that's interesting. I have a student who wanted to do medical development, wanted to do a development of a program that could help people make self-aware decisions for their medical future. Okay? And so it's a coding project. My wife's a medical coder for Health First. And so I made that connection. I said, who at UCF do you know that I can put this student in contact with? Made the connection. That student now has a direct connect to people at UCF that can drive her project. It's perfect. I never thought that I would ever pull my wife's expertise into my education.
That's one thing I can say very plainly about the science world in general. If you can find a couple people that care, which there are those of us out there that do, taking the connections and sharing them are something that I think is easier to do in the science world than most other professions. There are a lot of other professions get very kind of greedy of those
Very
things.
territorial.
Yeah, like, hey, that's my connection. I'm going to lose money if I share that. Or the science world, for the most part, people push that name and that phone number over to you and don't think twice about it.
And people have asked me, with my credentials, why am I not teaching at a college? I think that territoriality is at the next level. It's not at high school.
It definitely is. Yeah, you're 100% right.
At high school, I'm given a lot of freedom that I wouldn't have if I went to the next level.
I never thought about it that way, but that's true.
Absolutely true.
Oh yeah, science docs can get very
Territorial.
sensitive about what they're sharing or what they're doing, or if students are working in different labs, or it gets. You're right. It can get very interesting. That's a hard lesson to learn too. Once you get up that level, if you haven't already figured it out. Good Lord. Well, Doc, thank you so much for coming here and joining us and chatting with us. This has been a great discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do over at Astronaut High School. I try to get over there and harass you guys as often as I can.
Absolutely. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah, really, really, really appreciate it. Bill?
Yes, sir.
I reckon we are meandering over to a football game.
Yes.
Who does Titusville play tonight?
Palm Bay.
Palm Bay.
And
Is Palm Bay still down there?
And Astronaut next week.
Yeah, Astronaut next week.
Astronaut, we have Coco tonight.
Oh, you have we started with Coco. Oh, that's tough.
It's tough, and it's there.
Oh, we were there too.
It's tough.
Yeah, let's hope you guys.
Hope you do better than we did.
Hope you flip. Who knows? Maybe you flip the script and something happens.
That would be exciting.
Yep. Their quarterback is on his way to. I think he's
talented.
Division I somewhere. He's going.
He's talented.
Play. Yeah,
he's
good.
He's dropping he was
throws a very
here,
pretty ball.
Oh, he was dropping dimes.
So
it's crazy.
I will tell you a little bit about my 9th grade biology class. I know we're running out of time.
No, you're fine.
My 9th grade biology class, my regular biology class, I have 3 young gentlemen who have just turned 15, 16 years old. I have one that's 260 pounds and 6'5".
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Wow.
They're all playing on varsity. So it's interesting that they are very large gentlemen.
Right.
And yet mentally they are still freshmen. And you can see
yeah. They got a lot of living left yet to
Absolutely.
do.
Up and coming big things for Astronaut High School football team.
Oh yeah? Yeah.
Interesting. Knowledge has been shared on the EEARSS Podcast. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Well, that's kind of what EEARSS Podcast is supposed to do.
It's what it's all about.
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
It's all about.
We're collaborating. We're not territorial.
We're not
exactly.
territorial.
Not at all.
Exactly.
Not at all. Yeah, we won't tell Coach Holmes about that. So thank you for being on here and chatting with us. We really appreciate you coming over and having the conversation.
Thank you for the time.
Mr. Curtis?
Yes, sir.
Until next week, buddy.
Okay, so are you going to do
Yes,
your,
sir. I'm gonna
you're gonna
look
do
over
your
there.
spiel?
I'm gonna look over there. Just wanted
Okay,
to kind
so
of.
yeah, that's
I
the
know.
one.
I'm
making
going.
sure because sometimes I switch it on you.
I know.
And
I
you
know.
don't know which one it is.
Wait, is it this one or is it this one?
It's that
It's this one. I'm pointing at
Yeah,
it. I'm
it's-
actually
that's the
pointing at
one.
it. So we'll go there.
That's the one. And I'll still be on the side here making fun of you. So
That's fair.
go ahead.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning into the EEARSS Podcast over here at Terrier TV at Titusville High School. It's EEARSS, EEARSS, or again, EEARSS. It's ears.org, alligatorrob.com. Rob has 2 B's. We're averaging between 35 and 7,500 listens a week. If you're interested in sponsoring our program, you can buzz over to our website or find us on social media. Any of the ways. It's ears.org at gmail.com and talk to us about a sponsorship. We'd be happy to work something out with you where we're talking about you every week in front of thousands of people. Tell you what, could get your name out there. Could get your business's name out there. It could be healthy for you. It could be good for you. It'd make you feel warm and fuzzy. All the good things. All right, y'all. Until next week, bye-bye.